Welcome to had6 channel. In this video, we will look into reasonable. 19 adjectives with similar meanings will be reviewed in example sentences. Let's get started. Number 1. Sound. Which means based on valid reason or good judgment. Sound. For example, that is very sound advice. Number 2. Acceptable. Which means moderately good. Acceptable. For example, an acceptable substitute for champagne. Number 3. Viable. Which means feasible. Viable. For example, the committee came forward with the only viable solution. Number 4. Realistic. Which means having or showing a sensible and practical idea of what can be achieved or expected. Realistic. For example, you've got to be realistic and accept what has happened. Number 5. Valid. Which means of an argument or point having a sound basis in logic or fact. Valid. For example, a valid criticism. Number 6. Credible. Which means capable of persuading people that something will happen or be successful. Credible. For example, very few people found his story credible. Number 7. Admissible. Which means acceptable or valid, especially as evidence in a court of law. Admissible. For example, an admissible claim for damages. Number 8. Plausible. Which means of an argument or statement seeming reasonable or probable. Plausible. For example, a plausible explanation. Number 9. Rational. Which means based on or in accordance with reason or logic. Rational. For example, a rational approach to the problem. Number 10. Decent. Which means satisfactory. Decent. For example, she's trying to find a job with decent pay. Number 11. Logical. Which means of an action, decision, etc. expected or sensible under the circumstances. Logical. For example, the move into production seems the logical outcome. Number 12. Tenable. Which means able to be maintained or defended against attack or objection. Tenable. For example, such a simplistic approach is no longer tenable. Number 13. Equitable, which means fair and impartial. Equitable. For example, the equitable distribution of resources. Number 14. Feasible, which means possible to do easily or conveniently. Feasible. For example, there is only one feasible solution. What do you think of these synonyms? Please share your thoughts in the comment section below. Moreover, you can follow the channel by hitting the subscription button.